Welcome back to the Tailosive EV podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We are joined again with our full panel, and we have about a billion subjects to cover today. Where should we start, guys? What do we want to kick off with?
I got to check out some Rivians over the weekend, and
Oh,
I was
that's
very excited.
Oh my god, so much
Yeah.
happened. Okay.
Oh, I also got a new shirt, as you could tell. If I guess people who are not listening to the audio, if you are listening to the audio, it's a nice Rivian blue, which is kind of like a dark deep
Launch blue.
sea, yeah, whatever it is.
Mike has become the Rivian fanboy. He all but said to me, actually no, he did say to me, I will own a Rivian one day.
Wow.
That is saying
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
He's committed.
Yeah. So was it Rivian? Was it they put on Twitter? I think on Saturday or Sunday that they were having an impromptu hangout. If you want to come, we're here till 5. You can check out the vehicles, do all that. And me and the wife were doing errands at the time in town. I'm like, hey,
Oh, perfect.
can we go see the Rivians again? And she's like, yes. So we went to go check them out. It wasn't too far of a drive. And they kind of the same setup as the First Mile, except they didn't have Rivians going around a course. Instead, they had test rides available. So you didn't have to get there super early and get super lucky and be on the newsletter and blah, 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 blah. You just sign up with the guy with the iPad, and then you wait in the virtual line. And while you're waiting in the virtual line, you get to check out the R1Ts that are hanging out in their grassy area that also has some cool games and everything else.
So is this a ride along or a drive? You actually drove it.
Oh, I wish I could drive it. No, it was a ride along.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's
Bummer.
that's better than last time.
Yeah, but I guess to preface, when we got there, as we were driving in, we saw a beautiful LA Silver Rivian R1S hanging out in the parking lot.
Ooh.
And so the wife and I immediately, I think I
Wow.
called Drew as we were rushing. I'm like, Drew, get over
I
here.
thought something was wrong.
There's
I was
an
like, Mike is
R1S.
calling me. What's going on?
There's an R1S. Apparently it was. Well,
You
he's
call
not.
if there's an R1.
He's not relatively far. Drew could probably make it. Anyways, what was it? We went up to the Rivian, or the R1S. It's apparently owned by the CFO. I think her name's Emily of Rivian or something like that. Emily, you have a very beautiful car. If you probably don't listen to this, but you have a very
Her
beautiful
license
car.
plate number is 7X.
It had a pretty good space. My wife stood right next to it to gauge the height, and it's a decent height. I mean, even though that it could change its height wherever it wants or whatever, kind of like the R1T. It's a decent height. Like it's not like a Chevy Tahoe in terms of size, but it's a lot bigger
cool.
than the Model X. So
Really?
yeah,
Bigger than the X. I've now seen they've changed the website so that every R1S comes with 7 seats now. That's the default.
Yep,
Which is
and this one had that too. So it was nice seeing how it was arranged.
that's
The
awesome.
silver looked great. The logos, of course, are everywhere as per usual, but
Especially because the R1S is getting closer and closer to the price of the Model Y, as Tesla continues to up pricing, and the Rivian still has the federal tax credit. Like, these
do you
vehicles
mean
are
the
getting.
Model S or the Model? Do you actually mean the Model Y?
Yeah, I mean the Y. No, the
Wow.
R1S starts at 72.5, and the Model Y is starting at 63. So subtract the tax credit from the Rivian, and they're both within a few grand of each other. And
Jeez.
I bet performance-wise, the R1S is getting close to the performance Model Y in terms of acceleration, and still got off-roading capability, and probably a bit more roomy than the Model Y 7-seater, if that's what someone's looking for, is extra seats. So
Yeah, it's
those
a lot more square.
they're getting close. They're kind of in the same ballpark now for a lot of people. So
Along with that, they had some other things. An employee that I believe works at that HQ, or I guess not HQ, but at that office, got their Rivian, and they immediately, or maybe while they were waiting, they made a trailer to accompany it, and they debuted it kind of at this, I guess debuting as in they were just showing it off. It's a custom trailer, but it looks like an old, like, it's got some of that styling of like the kind of bubblish, but then comes to like a stream kind of look, or single
Teardrop.
point. Well, no, not like a teardrop. It's we'll show it up in the podcast visuals right here, because I think I uploaded it to or sent it to you guys at some point. If not, I'll send it now.
Send it to me.
But-
I'll edit.
Yeah, but it was a pretty cool trailer. We didn't get to really look inside because by the time we got to look at it after signing up and then checking out the R1Ts that they had there and then going back to check out this Rivian with a trailer on it, they were leaving. It was a pretty cool custom idea. A lot of people are very adventure enthusiastic at that company. So
Yeah, I bet.
I wouldn't doubt how much passion went into that trailer from that employee. Anyways, finally got to get in an R1T.
That was moving.
That was moving. They put us in, what was it? I think it was one of their Capitan Gray or whatever, the granite looking one. Not like the new gray that they kind of brought back, but the like the Model Y gray.
I got you. Yeah.
It was a launch edition. These are all launch editions. There's actually, I think at one point there was a launch edition green and then also a forest green kind of right next to each other. It's cool seeing the differences because one was a little bit more muted while the other one is a little bit more emeraldy, kind of shiny.
Did Randy
anyways.
have a favorite? He's the green expert.
Man, they're both really cool looking. I remember like when I saw the file, I was like punching in. I was like, man, this looks really cool. Like I appreciate that more khaki color. That one
Khaki
that
green.
That khaki green reminds me so much of like being on deployment. It's not even funny, but because of that, like it reminds me of deployment vehicles and stuff that we have. I'm like, dang, that's nice. But I might stay true to the green one though. Like that one's that's the OG to me. Like that's really nice. It's Rivian as a whole. I don't mean to interrupt, Mike, but
No,
I just wanna
go ahead.
chime
I'm
in
sending
that
pictures.
like I am so in awe with Rivian the more I keep watching them. And maybe it's because there's tangible products now, but just sorry, hang on.
He's getting a little emotional. It's a lot.
It's just so beautiful.
I need a minute.
I'm a vessel for love.
That's good.
Too soon?
Oh my goodness.
The truck just aesthetically is sexy. I like how it's still unique. The more I thought, like, man, it looks like another truck. No, it doesn't. Like the stuff that your eyes would draw to make it a truck, besides the bed, like the headlights, just everything. The way it looks aerodynamic as opposed to an F-150.
For the gear tunnel.
Oh man,
That's such a unique thing.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Listen, I can't
climbed
say
through 'em.
I will for
They're
sure
cool.
one day own one, but I am totally on the same path as Mike about in honest with it. You know, to be honest with you guys, I might have to see it in person for me to have a whole different opinion, because it wasn't until we did the Model 3 the first time in 2018 where I
Right.
was right then and there. I had never felt more clear about something that I wanted, and even though I was working towards trying to get one by that time anyways, I was like, maybe, I don't know. And I've seen them and everything, but it wasn't until I was in it, I was like, nothing else in my life mattered, you know, like that was it.
Butts and seats.
Yeah, that's it. So I fear, or I suspect, I don't know how you want to look at that, if I was to do that with a Rivian, you guys might be seeing me driving around. Sup, losers?
It's
No,
a
I'm just kidding.
dangerous game seeing a Rivian and getting to sit inside it, especially riding in it as it's accelerating. The guy who drove me and my wife, I sat in the front passenger and she sat basically behind the driver. He did not pull any stops on the test drive. He was accelerating around corners as if it felt like a performance Model 3, but it was a truck going 3.5 and 0 to 60.
I think
Going
it's
around
less,
corners. Is it?
Kevin or Kyle from Out of Spec did a Model 3 performance versus an R1T, and the R1T beat it. It was faster.
Ooh.
So I think it's a tad under 3.5 1 or so. It's close to right on 3. But yeah, it's absurdly fast for a truck.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Anyways, I felt it.
Yeah.
Being in a
She
truck
was alive.
He was alive. I felt it.
going around a corner like that in a truck is insane. Like, I've done it in the Ram, but of course it's bigger and slower. But doing it in a Rivian going, I don't know, like 50 around a corner with all 4 motors working. Whoa. At the end
What a
of the
rush.
test drive, I'm like,
Oh wow.
babe, how can you convince me not to pre-order?
Dude, it's so
when-
cool. I'm just looking at your
when we get
photos,
back to
Mike.
the car?
Uh,
Oh, it's so great.
actually, I changed my mind. Just re-looking at it right now, I like that more khaki green. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. What's funny is
There-
there was a customer
more-
who.
Sorry.
Yeah. There's a customer who was also driving right next to us during the test drive who just drove by, totally unrelated to the test drive. So that was kind of funny seeing another Rivian in the area.
They're everywhere. I have a friend
everywhere in the Bay.
out in Colorado. Nick, Space Mike, as we call him, because you're Model Y Mike. He texted us, I think this past week or the week prior, that he saw one out in the wild, Rivian. He's like, oh, got my first glimpse, and it's only a matter of time before I see one out here. I thought I saw one out here, but I didn't. I was like, ooh, 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 and I told Bree, like, oh, okay, drive closer. And as we got closer to it, I was like, that's not
It was like a Lincoln or something.
it. It was something, it was something disrespectful.
A Buick.
Dink Buick. Have there been any sightings in Texas, Nick?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I do have a friend in Massachusetts who his next door neighbor just got an R1T delivered, and he was kind of freaking out about it. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. But I haven't seen any around Starbase or anything. Couple people who have Rivian T-shirts that I've seen, like some of the muted like earth colors that Michael wear. Walk around Starbase, we'll have like I'm like, ooh, Rivian, nice. So
Yeah,
we'll
it's
see
more-
how many of those end up down here.
It's more Blue Origin vehicles, right? They're around.
Yeah, they love Blue Origin down here.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw
pretty
one
cool.
in the past
ahead.
week closer to my house than ever before. Literally like a couple minutes from my house. We were just like, running into town to grab something, and I was like, whoa, this is starting to feel real. Used to be like you had to go out somewhere to see one. I had to go to the Bay Area, or I had to go on a highway or something. But this, I was just in town. I wasn't on a big trip or something, and to see one parked at a parking lot, I was like, this feels real. It's getting serious.
For context, I know what that means to you, Drew, but if Drew sees it in his area,
Oh yeah,
that means it's really like it's getting out there.
it's being infiltrated.
Yeah,
I feel
it's
like
one
I
thing
didn't
you
see
it
a
in
Tesla.
LA or whatever,
Yeah,
but
yeah. It was a while before we started seeing Teslas in my town, even after they started delivery. So it's kind of weird that the Rivian deployments are so spread out. There's people in
I'm happy for
Massachusetts,
them.
and
That's
yeah,
awesome.
me too.
Yeah.
I think
That's
it's
cool.
I'm rooting for them. I'm glad that they have a lot of cash in the bank because they're burning a lot right now. I just hope that they can turn it around in the next couple of years and hopefully move on the Adventure Network and service, and because that's where most of my concerns are with Rivian. It's like the product is solid. There's nothing wrong with the R1T
Right.
design as far as I'm concerned. I'm super pumped that they're the first company to announce they want to do a lithium iron phosphate pickup truck. That got me really interested. I was like, especially because the Rivian charge limiter is by default recommended to go to 70% every day, not 80. So if you charged a LFP Rivian to 100% every day, you'd actually have a higher daily range than the 70% on the nickel-based battery pack. So I consider that a side grade. It's not like a downgrade to go with the LFP Rivian, and they want to do that in the next couple of years. So I'm like, yeah, the product's awesome. I love that the R1S has 7 seats by default, and that's just the norm because I can't think of any other EV that does that. But it's everything else surrounding the product that I have more concerns with, because it would suck if they went under or struggled to turn a profit and had to get bought out or something,
I got some news on that, by the way. I talked with, of course, a few Rivian employees, and they
Oh,
said
cool.
that they're making the LFP pack right now,
Mm.
but they're not putting them in any Rivian, or I guess the R1T or the R1S. That's
Right.
waiting 2 years, but they're putting them in the Amazon delivery van right now.
Yeah, I did hear about that in their report, but I didn't know they were doing it this quickly.
They already have a few of them apparently going in right now. At least that's what the employee was telling me, is that
Wow.
they're already doing test drives with them. They're already making sure that the chemistry is safe and good, and it's all integrated the same way as the lithium-ion pack. So it's getting there. I think
Good.
the van will definitely be proving grounds for the R1S and R1T.
Yeah.
I also got to see one of those at the event too, and that was pretty
Yeah, I'm
cool.
looking at it.
It's
the
big.
van.
It's,
Yeah.
It is big.
And it looks like a Rivian. That's cool. Like they
Kinda.
found their design language with those circle headlights. Like I look at that, I was like, that looks like a Rivian.
Yeah, it doesn't have the elongation like the R1T and the R1S.
No, but,
like ovals, but it's there.
But
I
the
guess.
way it's kind of like it's flat on the grill side, like it has that. I don't know. I looked at that. If you put that up with any other EV prototype or out, and said which make does this prime van belong to, you would be hard pressed. Maybe it's the wind. Maybe I'm looking at the. I think it's the windshield. Then something that's like that's a Rivian. I think it's that little face of its two eyes and its little mouth part. Like, I don't know. It looks like a Rivian to me. So,
it's also got 2 screens in it. It's got one that's kind of driver focused for routing you to the next delivery location, and then it's also got one right behind the steering wheel for speedometer and all that.
It's like a
So-
Rivian.
Like a Rivian, except more like the R1S and R1T have it a little bit more.
wait, hang on. I,
I guess
see the one
flat and
screen.
out.
I only see but the
Oh.
one screen in your photo.
Yeah, I didn't capture the second screen, but
Where's the second screen located?
right behind the steering wheel.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was thinking like the Tesla Semi where,
Oh, yeah, centered.
No.
That'd
Not
be
like that.
interesting.
But
You know
otherwise,
what's funny is they still have more orders for the delivery van than the truck and SUV.
makes sense.
Technically,
Really, they do?
because Amazon ordered 100,000.
Oh,
And
dang.
They haven't surpassed 100K on the truck and SUV yet. So
Yeah. Oh wow.
Not even
That's
close
a
yet.
lot.
it's priorities. That's why I'm glad they're switching to LFP on the van, because that means all of their current suppliers for 2170 cells can go straight to the truck and the SUV, and they don't have to share too many components. So it's like the things they're telling me all sound good. It's just execution now. I'm like, yeah, keep doing that. You know.
Also during the test drive, the guy was saying, I'm trying to find his name because I tweeted his name out. He was telling us how the audio is fantastic in it, and we should go check it out in one of the launch editions that are sitting on the lawn. And he specifically said, which is something that we couldn't do, Drew, when we did the first mile event, was close all the doors, completely quiet, turn on whatever song you want. It doesn't even have to be a bassy song or whatever. Just ask Alexa, which actually works in this vehicle compared to Lucid. Ask Alexa to play a song. She'll play the song. We asked her to play, I think, Black Eyed Peas or something like that, just because we're like, whatever. And it sounds amazing. And then also on the menu, there's a separate audio menu. You can choose what sounds best, or like what you want to focus on, whether it's vocals or whatever. I think I included a video or whatever.
The equalizer. I thought
Equalizer,
they did. I thought we did that briefly at the event. Did we not?
A little bit, but I mean, we didn't really get to experience it like a dedicated experience. What am I trying to say?
There was other guy. There was a total stranger in the driver's seat, and he
there's
was
a total
like,
stranger, and
"Can I
there's
listen to
people
the
opening the
speaker? Can
doors."
you close the door?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." So we closed it, and then he messed around with the equalizer. But yeah, I'd love to get Randy's impressions on one because he's the audiophile.
I got a video of it, me toggling between different settings or whatever to just get a very terrible iPhone audio version of it. But
Tell us how it sounds, Randy. Listen to the iPhone video.
Sounds like speakers being played through another set of speakers.
exactly.
Wow, that could be good.
That might be. I'll be like, yep, that sound.
Yeah, they
is
went all
noise.
out with the sound system, which is great.
Even the guy that I was talking to said that even on like the lower tier, not the adventure, the explorer version, it sounds great.
I believe
So,
it, which is
I-
good
I-
because that's the only one I would ever possibly consider getting.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt either of them sounding amazing. But what was it? Brian was the guy that drove us around, and then Tiger was the guy that was telling me about the LFP pack. Both of them were great to talk to. Both of them very dedicated workers who love the company, and they're hiring all over the place.
Oh yeah, I bet.
So if you're interested in working at Rivian, it was a good time. I enjoyed it.
Cool.
That's
I hope
enough
they-
of my dissertation on my experience at it again.
I hope they have another one when I'm in the area. That would be fun, just to check them out again. But
I told them they should do it more frequently, like once a month or something like that. Like, it shouldn't be too bad because these launch edition R1Ts are just sitting around. They're company vehicles. And some of them are employee vehicles, but the employee vehicles are just being shown off or whatever. Like, here's a trailer on it or whatever.
I'd love to get in an R1S just because we've seen a lot of the trucks, but I want to see how spacious it is and, the seats folding down and all that. You lose the gear tunnel, but you gain a lot. So that's one I'm going to be on the lookout for whenever they do another one of those event setups. Not just specifically Emily's, because she probably doesn't want people jumping in her car.
No.
That would be weird.
We didn't hang around Emily's car too long. We wanted to look in and we're like, okay, this is probably an employee's vehicle. Let's just go look at the R1Ts.
Yeah. Well, I have a specific question for Nick because we potentially got new info on this standard range Model Y from Texas potentially starting $60,000. And I know it's probably going to depend all on delivery timelines, but do you have any interest in this model, Nick?
I have a lot of interest in this model, and it's really
Yeah.
sad.
I bet.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still waiting around for a VIN.
Okay.
We still got probably over a month. At least that's what the website, month to month and a half. Actually, month to 2.5 months, because it's May 25th through June 29th is the
Gotcha.
current window. It hasn't changed since last week. But yeah, so it could be a little bit longer. I don't like. I'm not gonna cancel the order or do anything drastic to get a Texas Model Y, but I sure would like one. That would be so nice.
Are you worried about the Model Y?
No, I'm not worried about the Model Y because I care less about this car. I'm really just waiting for the dang Cybertruck to come out.
Which stopgap do I go with?
Which stopgap do I get? Yeah, and I've had quite a few
cheaper one.
extended. Hey, I've had a few extended conversations with some friends about the Model Y, and one of them's like, you should get like a salvage Model 3 and deal with that for a few years, and I'm like, supercharging sounds nice to me.
Yeah. I don't know about salvaged, but yeah, I was
Well,
definitely
you can pick
pushing
them up for
for
pretty cheap. Apparently, you can get like a salvage Model
rightfully
3
so.
for
Right.
under 30 grand.
A
And
Tesla you can't supercharge is going to be quite the ownership experience.
well, a
but-
Tesla that you can't even use the app with.
Really?
Like,
Does the
yeah,
app not even work?
The app doesn't work on salvaged Model 3s.
Oh my
And-
god.
Yeah.
So you just bring the key card to the
it's
pillar and then
it's
there
the
you
key
go.
it's the key card and the screen in the car
Wow.
and software updates.
I'd get a
are
fob in that case with my savings.
Probably, yeah. Honestly, that would be not be a bad idea. But yeah, so I don't know.
Yikes.
Definitely do want that new Model Y though, because that is looks like a beautiful vehicle. Just the way it's designed and just all the little niceties, like the little magnetic latch for these little small things that really don't matter.
It's got the
But
parcel shelf in the
In the
back.
partial shelf in the back, I've been thinking about so many ways that I could use that in my daily work. Just have that extra little shelf in the back would be kind of nice. But
I'm really hoping
Eh.
they switched the Fremont Model 3, specifically mine, to the magnetic lid right
Yes.
before, literally the day before they build mine. They're like, okay, let's switch to magnets. And I can go, yes, I've got the new one.
but knowing my luck, it'll
Magnets.
be the day
What do they
after
mean?
they finish making it.
Yeah,
And-
that's gonna be mine probably too.
yeah, same here. And so I'm like, well, this is a temporary car, blah blah blah, but it would be nice to have the latest and greatest. But
For
anyway,
sure.
so yeah, I've been watching all the rumors. Obviously, 60,000 seems to be the 59,999 seems to be the big rumor. But I don't know why my neighbor always honks at like 11:30 every single Friday at 11:30.
He knows you're recording.
I know, and then the trash truck is going to come in a little while and make big clonks and stuff. So
Oh, mine does too.
yeah,
We have the
so
same trash day.
I think our trash guys are in cahoots, just trying to mess up our podcast recording schedule.
Hopefully they're
That's-
Nikola garbage trucks. So
Yes.
they can be quieter.
I mean they don't exist, so that's how they'd be quieter.
What are you talking about?
That's
They
a lot
exist.
quieter.
Well, I guess not the garbage trucks, but yeah.
What do you guys think of the $60,000 price?
Meh. I mean, I was close. 2,000.
Yeah, you're
Right.
close. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's all right.
I don't even remember what Randy said.
I think he said
Whatever I said, I was right. Nah.
it was all descending from mine. It was like 58. You were 60, then 58, then 55, then 53.
That sounds right. We were all in the 50 realm or close to the 50.
I remember
high
when
50s.
Mike made his pitch, I was like, you know what? No, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Would you recommend that model to anybody?
Me or just anyone?
Would anybody recommend the standard range Model Y if the price
Yes.
leak is true?
Yes.
I mean, it's a pretty good price for a Model Y, even though I think with included taxes and delivery fees and all that, it's about a little bit more than what I paid for mine. But I guess, of course, that was 2 years ago now. No, I think it's a good deal, even if it's got less range and it's not LFP. It's a decent car, and you get decent acceleration with it, and you've got decent space, and hopefully I think it should come with all the cool new things. So you get all the latest and greatest from Giga Texas, which has hopefully the best build quality in America for the first few months and then beyond. But I guess
Yeah.
we'll see.
I saw a lot of people saying like just spend the extra $3,000 for the long range, and I kind of get it because the prices are so close relative to the total price of the vehicle, like especially with a lot of people financing these days. I announced I was buying in cash and everyone was like, "Why you can't do that?" But
Use your money that way? Impossible.
I am not a crook.
put the lowest down payment possible and then throw the rest in Tesla stock and don't sell it till you're 180. That's what everyone tells me to do. But I think $3,000 over the course of a loan is going to be fairly small, and there's, I guess, a lot of things we don't know about the 4680 yet. Like, we're hoping for better charging times and hopefully better cycle life, but it's still very much hoping. It's not like guaranteed, but we don't really have data on it yet, real world data. So yeah, I guess if anybody out there, I would say it's a good buy for someone who's just like a really big Texas fan who wants to know their car was made in Texas. Like, the range difference may not be a huge deal to everybody, but
I don't know. My question is, like, who's it going to be available to? Are they going to geo-fence it for people in West United States? Or, sorry, East United States, so that way they can order it? While the West, like everyone west of Texas, doesn't get that option. They just still see the two options on there. Or I guess maybe at checkout, if they're trying to buy it, it says, you are not at this location, so you are not eligible to get it, or something like that. Because it doesn't make sense for Texas to be making this car for everyone if their plan is for most of these cars, or I guess all these cars, to go east.
I haven't thought much about that. I guess
What's the order page going to look like?
I could see the estimated delivery changing drastically. Like, if you're logged in from California, it's like 6
2
months
years.
out. But if Nick is looking at the configurator, it'll say like next month or something. maybe.
Imagine that.
And if it does say that, if it is like, I don't know, and I did just say I don't really want to do anything drastic, but if it was approximately the same delivery estimate, probably within a month, I would consider it. And,
Okay.
And it would definitely be a more wise financial decision? Question mark.
More wise.
More wise, yeah.
More less why. More less why.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I don't know what they're doing with, tow hitch / white interior,
yeah,
those kinds of things.
And
So
I mean,
that might.
if I'm redoing an order, I probably would still be looking for the fastest one. So, if there was a large, change in delivery estimate between colors or trims or whatever,
Yeah.
we can talk about that if we have it on the website. But it's still not on the dang website.
I know. It's
Why?
amazing they've gone this far and still not given us really that much info on it. It's shocking how little they've talked
delivered,
about this.
but we don't know anything about it.
And also how you'll get it, Nick. Because can you take delivery of it where you are?
How did the employees do it?
We don't know.
The way it works in Texas is it's officially sold in like Oklahoma or something. You accept delivery before the vehicle arrives at your delivery
Right.
location. But
So it's
if you
sold
don't-
out of state.
It's sold out of state. But
Yeah.
if for any reason you don't like it up until the first 100 miles, they'll give you your money back, no questions.
Really? I didn't
So-
hear about that.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Well, you accept delivery, out of state, and then they bring it to you, and then you do your delivery day inspection, and you don't have to accept it on delivery day. And then even after delivery day, you have the 100 days or 3 days. Sorry.
Not 100
miles.
days.
Did I say 3
That would be
days?
nice.
Did I say
That's the
100 days?
AirPods Max
I meant,
return policy of Tesla.
I'm so sorry. No, I meant 100 miles, 3 days and 100 miles is their return policy. And it's,
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
It's probably a Texas thing, I assume.
No,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's a system-wide thing, right?
Oh, really? I
don't
thought
know,
it,
only because I've got a buddy at work who has been waiting for a Plaid Model X. Got 2 offers, once during Christmas when he was busy, and then once recently. And he asked to test drive, and they said only in the parking lot, otherwise no. And so then he canceled it.
I think it is a state thing because
If I
I
can't
know.
test drive it, then
Yeah,
I'm not gonna take it.
I know Texas has this weird you can't deliver directly to consumers thing, and Tesla
Yeah,
has
that's
found
so
this
dumb.
loophole around it. But I know California doesn't have that same law, and they used to have like a 7-day return policy, and then they got rid of it. So I assume if you hit the accept delivery button, there's no way you can get any of your money. Like it's gone. It's never coming back. Even if it falls apart in 2 miles, it's the done deal. But I wouldn't be shocked if Texas had something like that because technically they're asking you to accept delivery before you've even seen the car. And
Well, I do know for an absolute fact that you don't at delivery you don't have to accept delivery, even though you've technically accepted delivery
Right,
from a legal
right.
perspective. But I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that there is that 100-mile 3-day thing, and maybe that's
Okay.
just legacy from. But I thought that
you
was
should
like
try it.
system-wide.
Let's find out.
Okay,
Let's
yeah.
see what
let's
happens.
just put 70 grand on the line and see what happens.
When the Giga Texas Model Y comes out, order that one, and then take delivery of your Performance, and then return it. In
Return
50
it. There you
miles.
go.
The first guy on the podcast who has 2 Teslas.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I will not be beaten. I will go buy another.
Randy's like,
immediately
"Yo,
buys-
wifey, we need to get that Model Y like ASAP."
Here's
I
a
will
better
be
question
first.
for you. Who on the show will be a zero gas vehicle household first?
Me.
Probably Nick.
My current gas car is a questionable.
But do you have a
so-
roommate with a gas car?
Dang it.
Ooh.
That
Dang it.
wasn't
All
the
right, I'm
question.
gonna have to get rid of my roommate now.
That
I'm gonna
doesn't
have to
count.
get rid of.
I
I'm gonna
said
have to
household.
You did say household. I'm gonna have to get
Well,
rid
then
of my
I'd say
roommate now.
Drew. It's probably Drew
Yeah,
then.
Drew.
That's why I said household, because I wanted to be
Okay.
good at something.
Unless Randy and Brittany get rid of their Yaris and get like a Ionic or something.
No, if we get rid of the Yaris, I'll just give Brittany the Model 3 to take to work. I'll be like, I'm here, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess then there.
We're a one-car family.
No, Brittany likes having the Yaris as a fallback. It's a security blanket. because it's paid off. You mean the miles are very low on it.
Yeah.
Everything mechanically still works. Everything electrically still works. All intents and
Dissimilar
purposes for it being
redundancy.
it's a safe vehicle. Out of
Everything
anything else,
spiritually still works.
It does not spiritually still work.
What?
The gas is cheaper to fill up there. Like it takes less and it runs further than, like a full size sedan.
No.
So it's a good fallback. I always push to tell her to sell it. Like, let's get rid of it. But her reasonings for keeping it just makes so much sense. I'm like, yeah, I know, but we don't.
I'm happy
need
to
it.
report. Go ahead. Sorry.
No,
My
no,
bad.
no. Just all that to say that her thing is that sometimes, much like when we went down to Florida,
Mhm.
we don't like road trips. Context is that we always have the context is that we have like a time frame to have our vacation. It's not whenever we feel like, because
Yeah.
she's on orders. So we have to make travel time as short as possible. Riding Tesla long distances where there's a time frame, it's not a shorter trip. Driving, filling up real quick, keep going, especially if it takes 2 days to get somewhere. We get there quicker on a gas vehicle, and that means more to her, which means it means more to us. What she wants, I want, guys. Come on now.
Happy wife.
It means more to her to get there in a timely manner than it is to just take the most efficient, because it's not as expensive filling up the yards as it would be any of the other cars that we've had in the past. So I guess we'll keep it until the car doesn't start anymore, until we're in the situation of like you, Drew, or you, Nick.
You wouldn't run to replace it, though, is what you're saying.
No. When it goes, it's gone. It's
gone.
fine. Yeah.
Get outta here.
When we bought the car in
If he dies, he died.
2014, yeah,
Ooh.
we got it in
Dies in the
2014.
game.
In 2014, it's a 2011, so it was a 3-year-old car at the time. In 2014, there was only like 12,000 miles on the car.
Wow. That's pretty good.
And it was just, right now, we barely hit the 6-figure mark on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got some life on it. So it's the same reason about like why, I mean, we've run that type of scenario, kind of running the math on other expenses like the iPad, or like, it's just because it's already paid off and everything. It's just cheaper to keep what you have currently than to downsize or to whatever.
Should get a loan on a M1 iPad Pro.
Yeah, definitely. You want like a
insurance is on-
30-year
the
fix.
insurance
You want
on
a
that
30
thing-
30-year fix
30
with.
year. I want to see how cheap you could get it. Yeah.
It'd be the insurance.
This
would be
iPad is only
astronomically
30
high.
cents a month for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life.
I'm keeping it for
Lifetime,
60
man.
years.
And that's it.
Um,
I had to take out a second mortgage on the iPad.
It still won't have a calculator. But I'm happy to report. I'm happy to report that as of this morning, we already have a family member interested in our current Hyundai.
Ooh.
Once we get our new car,
Ooh.
so
Ooh,
it's already got someone lined up for it.
nice.
They're like, okay,
Sweet.
let's get rid of this crap.
I had a buddy who, what was it? His older sister, way before he was born, drove this old Toyota manual to school and back for 4 to 6 years or whatever. And
I
then
think I knew
sold
that
it.
guy.
No. And then, like, quite literally, like, 20 years later, they needed a car for my buddy to drive to school. And they found that very same car on the lot at a
Whoa.
used car dealer.
Wow.
And they took it because they knew the history of it, at least
Yeah.
during the time that his sister had it.
Huh.
And I guess it went to someone else for 20 years or something like that, or maybe it sat on the lot for a long time. But then they
20
got
years,
and drove it.
Same spot.
And it still drove great. Basically no issues. And then they got rid of it after like 6 or 7 years. And
That's cool.
it's great that it had like 3 or 4 lives in the span of like I don't know, 60 years or something like that.
Yeah,
Maybe not
that
60,
is
but
interesting.
probably like 40 years at least. That's a
Wow.
long car.
Well, we do have a very special 420 event before the next podcast.
Oh.
So I wanted to go over if anybody had questions or hopes for the next earnings call that they were looking forward to.
Is the Cybertruck coming?
Soon.
Can you give us an
Soon,
update
TM.
on the Cybertruck, please?
2 weeks. Yeah,
No.
pretty much.
Looking at all the questions on say.com is hilarious. But
That's you basically summarized say.com's question. That's what it is.
every single one.
When truck when
When the
When's stock split? Give me stock split in truck.
Me want stock. Me want truck. Me want ATV.
my my question is what they're gonna do with the 4680s coming out of Cato Road. Like what the plan is for that, since Giga Texas is gonna take over 4680s for local production. Like they got a bunch of these new batteries right in Fremont. What could you put? Is it a Roadster? Is it a semi? Is it, like where are those batteries gonna go?
They could sell them in Wise in Fremont, but just like limited run, like stuff that they put
Oh.
on the existing orders page, like they've done in the past. But
That'd be
it's
interesting.
like extra orders, kind of like the LFP Model 3 initially.
Huh. Maybe it's like if you're on the they update the configurator, and if you're on the West Coast, you get a 4680 Model Y from Fremont
Yeah, but
instead
it's
of
gonna
from
take
Texas.
forever.
And the quality control is still bad. I don't know how easy that is to swap out, like go from the 2170 pack to the structural pack and all that. I don't know. I guess they claimed Giga Texas had a backup plan to use 2170, so it must be at least a little bit convertible. I think they should do the Roadster. I'm sorry. That's my advice. Low volume.
Yes.
Everyone won't shut up about it. I'm so tired of watching YouTube videos where people say, "It's no Roadster. They
It's
said the Roadster."
vaporware.
It's vapor. I'm so sick of the Roadster hate online of everyone saying they said that'd be out by now. They've been taken to pot. So I'm like, you've got your Cato Road facility building batteries. Giga Texas can supply its own batteries now. Just do a limited run. You don't have to build a bunch. Make like one more than the Rimac Navara, so you can say there's more Roadsters than Navaras. Make like 151 Roadsters. Deliver the 88 to the people in the referral program, so everyone shuts up, and then call it a day. Say, okay, we delivered the Roadster, and then you can make like one a month or something. Build them by hand.
Build them by that's that Rolex quality that you're gonna get there.
Yeah, and they can charge whatever they want. 400,000. Why not? They'll be profitable. They've already got the Plaid powertrains being mass produced at scale at Fremont. They're putting them in the S and X already. Just gotta figure out that body and that cold gas thruster. Ship one over from Hawthorne.
Well, I think we can hook them up with the cold gas thruster if they need it. We need to give them a hot gas thruster.
Just give them a
Spicy gas
Raptor
thruster.
2 engine.
Even just a Raptor 2. got a bunch of Raptor 1s that are now outdated, so they might as well stick
At this
them
point,
in
this
the-
is just Rocket League. If you've
Yeah.
played the game Rocket
Rocket
League,
League,
where
yeah.
it's basically just cars with rockets in the back.
Yeah.
Real
I
life
just-
Rocket League.
I'm so tired of them being asked about the Roadster because it's not that important of a car. And even though I disagreed with Randy last week, I thought he brought up a good point about how people wired $250,000 years ago, and you should prioritize them because they've given you the most and waited the longest. And I'm like, you know what? Just rip off that Band-Aid. I know it's a little annoying. I know it's a little frustrating, but if just get it over with, you'd be done. I don't think the people waiting on the semi trucks are that impatient. There's not like a bunch of people going like, "Where's my electric semi, Elon?" There's a lot of people with the Roadster hype, but semi trucks just Walmart, and Frito.
Walmart
Lay's
isn't making
and...
YouTube videos on the delays of the semi.
No, I am. That's just me. I was
He's doing it for Walmart.
I'm speaking on Walmart's behalf. I hate Walmart, by the way.
Drew's a Walmart spokesman.
I never shop at Walmart. They're terrible. They
Every
don't
time I
support
walk in,
Apple Pay.
I keep thinking, I come back home thinking I caught COVID.
I mean,
You just always see people there you never want to see again,
Why is that person walking around in their underwear?
right. And why do they have an employee badge? They need their.
I think that
they
guy
need their
asked me for
semi-trucks,
$1
but
once.
Ouch.
I think here's my case. Here's my pitch, because I know Tesla watches this show, but the Roadster is low volume, right? So you don't need a ton of 4680s for those things. You can use a fairly limited run from Cato Road to put them in Roadsters, and you've got enough batteries. And you can also not have to worry about profit margins like at all. Like, you've got plenty of room of overhead to be like, well, this is faster than any other car you can buy, so we're going to charge 300,000, 400,000. Let's say the Founder Series, you honor their pricing because they gave you an interest-free loan for 5 years of $250,000. Give them their car for the original price, but new orders coming in say like, actually, it's 300K now, or it's this much now, and you can charge whatever you want. Whereas the Semi is this really difficult balancing act of profitability because it's going to require a crap ton of batteries. It's like 500 kilowatt hours or 800 kilowatt hours. Like, it's going to be a ton, and at the same time, they're going to try to not. You can't charge like 5 times the price of a Model Y for the Semi, because then it would be 300,000, and they originally unveiled it and said it would be like 180. I'm sure it'll be more than that. It might end up being like 200 or 220, but the profit margins on the Semi are probably the most difficult part of mass producing it. It's like it requires 5 or actually less, probably more than that, 7 or 8 Model Ys worth of batteries putting into one vehicle that you sell for the price of 3 Model Ys or 4 Model Ys. So the margins there are more tricky, and because it's a business vehicle, warehouses buying them, they're going to be like, oh, that's kind of a lot. We could just keep running the diesel one or whatever. Whereas the Roadster is like, people will pay anything for that. You don't have to build a lot of them. You don't really have to put a bunch of batteries in them because it's such a smaller, aerodynamic vehicle. They claimed they were going to do 200 kilowatt hours, but I wouldn't be shocked if, Elon mentioned several times, we could do a 600-mile range version, but it's just really inefficient for city driving, and it's not that useful to have range that far, at least on a small car. On a pickup truck, when you're towing, that's fair. I get the range argument, but with a Roadster, you're not towing anything. So it's like, how often are you going to drive 600 miles at a time? Like, they can do what they pulled with the standard range Model Y and just be like, okay, the range is actually 400 or 450, or make it 521 so it can beat the Lucid Air. Be like, ha, best range in an EV. And then call it a day. And then the 4680s have something to do. People will get off your back on the Roadster. You don't have to mess with the Model S and X assembly lines. They can just keep doing their thing. So that's my pitch.
I just can't wait to see one go over
good
a hill
pitch.
like the Model X recently.
It's gonna do that, LA. Except it won't come back. It's just gonna
Starlink!
go up and keep going.
I guess I'll
Oh
wait.
god. And it'll be a rental.
Mm,
Oh my god.
obviously.
Can you imagine the people renting out the Roadster on Turo?
Oh, it's going to be so expensive. And they're going to be so obsessive. They're going to be like, you killed 3 bugs with the front of this vehicle. That will be $800 in repairs to get 3 chinchilla cloths out and clean the front of this vehicle because you
It's
killed 2
only
bugs.
cleaned with the apple polishing cloth.
Absolutely, but you can't reuse it, and it's just one swipe per cloth, and you have to throw the cloth away and get a
Right.
whole new one out.
Yeah.
Only way to do it.
These poor chinchillas.
Exactly.
I know. There's going to be a chinchilla shortage. I'm predicting it now.
I could see that on Turo.
I don't think it's called a shortage, Nick. I think that's called threatened or
Extinction.
Endangered?
extinction.
They're gonna file a complaint on Turo for finding 2 fruit flies on the front.
They will. Oh, they will.
Excuse me. What is this question you found?
Oh, so yeah. What is Tesla construction team building or busy with these days? I don't know. Probably building Giga Texas or
Yeah, really. Watch Jeff Roberts' videos. They're working on the cathode facility now, right next to it.
they're still
Yeah, they've
building
got-
stuff.
Yeah, they're drilling stuff and they're moving structural steel in place. So yeah, it's like the main facility is done, but they're is still a ton of property around it that needs to be built out. So they're going to have a cathode production right next to it. So
Yeah.
I hate the questions that have already been answered. Don't vote for that one.
I think the only one that I think is good in here that I think deserves time is, what was it? Oh, at the Cyber Rodeo, Elon mentioned that a futuristic driverless robotaxi vehicle is on the roadmap. When can we expect more details or ever? So basically it's just asking when's the next event that's going to debut this, which I think is valid for at least asking when the next event is.
I don't know. There's good questions, but I know how they're going to answer it, and it's not going to be a good answer. It's just going to be like,
Soon.
we don't have an update. We want to. I think it's the wrong question. What you don't understand is Tesla bot will completely throw the economy over, and we need UBI.
You will get on the back of Tesla bot, and Tesla bot will take you places.
Did y'all see the TED conference that Elon did yesterday? Which if you
I
listened
caught
to this show 2 days ago,
clips of it, but I didn't watch.
I haven't
the whole thing.
catched it. No.
I watched it.
it was really
What did
good.
you
yeah.
think?
What'd you think, Nick?
You liked it?
Well, I just like the fact that it was like still in the moment at the news. Like Elon had just announced yesterday morning that he wanted to buy all of Twitter, and then like half of the interview was, "So you wanted to buy Twitter? Tell us about that." And it's just Elon like, insert your own opinions on that. We don't need to talk about that here. That's for the Deck podcast. But
That TED guy.
Ted was nice.
who is
Ted
he?
was nice guy.
That TED was like, how do I make this interview as dated as possible?
It's gonna be
Have you met Ted?
That's a great quote. He did do a lot of interesting quotes, especially the one of, I think I know the most about manufacturing than anyone else in the world. I'm like, that's probably true, but specifically for your cars.
It's very confident.
I'd say he was pretty confident with that, but I'd agree. I mean, it's not like he's. Can you think of anyone else?
I think he's
it's a
got a
good
good
point.
knowledge base. I just don't think that he's like the expert. Like, if you threw him, I don't know. Let's just say you threw him in.
Name every engineer.
All right, so we got Richard Albertson.
I just mean like from overseers.
He is
I'm
an
sure there's a
astronaut.
bunch of,
I think that makes him an engineer. Astronaut.
There's a bunch of people that are like specific for their field for sure. Like there's a bunch of engineers and manufacturing experts for Apple and Lucid and kids' toys probably have a whole different wave of manufacturing, how to make
Medical devices.
toys at scale, Star Wars and Marvel stuff. There's all these different fields, but I can't think of someone that's like very knowledgeable about how the ground floor works, about how factories are laid out, and also is involved with rocket engine and rocket engine development and scaling that up, especially ramping production of a reusable rocket booster and a complex EV. I'm like, yeah, okay. It's not a crazy statement.
Yeah.
No, I just don't think it's entirely accurate. At least the medical device field would take a lot of offense to it because there's a lot of intricacies with the engineering of tools and devices surrounding the human body.
I think
That's
every
true.
industry would take offense to that statement. However, I think objectively Elon has the best shot at being the person who knows the most about manufacturing.
If you threw
I had
him
to-
into the medical device field,
if-
he's got his piece. But I
Sure,
don't
if-
think
if-
that he is an expert in that field.
if-
I think he would be a good recommendation for another idea surrounding the manufacturing of a good in that field.
They did ventilators.
They did ventilators, but I don't think that,
They did
I don't think that
Neuralink.
was him.
Okay, but here's
I've heard, that's
here-
a whole another can of worms.
okay. So here's I think what he was getting at. If you found an objective way to measure how much an engineer knows cross-disciplinary, if there was some way to do that, which I'm not saying there is, but if there was some way to do that, and you rated every single engineer's knowledge of manufacturing based on this objective
Their DxO mark score.
exactly their DxO mark score, Elon would have a 120 or something on the DxO mark
Right.
chart,
He'd
and
be up
everyone
there
else
for
would be in the
sure.
high 90s.
I think he'd be up there. I just don't think that he is the all-knowing and powerful person.
Oh, it was a very prideful statement for him to say that. I'm not saying
Yes.
he was being humble.
There's definitely more humble ways of going about it, but I think he's accomplished enough to
Yeah, exactly.
be kind of prideful and boastful. It's
Sure.
like, yeah,
I agree.
when you do as much as he's done, you can kind of be like that, and it works. So
I
if
agree.
you were Trevor Milton, can't get away with that, like that
Trevor
doesn't
Milton
work.
can't go on stage anymore. He's in Colorado at his house,
Yeah.
whine to check Twitter, but he can't.
Elon's gonna ban him from Twitter. Yeah.
It'd be
But,
nice if
funny.
he'd unban him.
I need to,
He would unban him and then troll him.
yeah. That'd be funny. I need to congratulate Randy for a moment here, just because he finally changed the color of his Model 3 in the app.
Yes.
And
I saw
I legit remember talking to him about that very feature when I first saw your car IRL, when we drove down to San Diego and we hung out. I was like, they should make it so you can change the color in the firmware to be exactly what your wrap is. And that day has finally come. I'm like, Tesla
They
listens.
listened.
Thank you.
They listened
Thank
to
you,
us.
Tessie.
It's so perfect seeing like in the visualization now, like it looks as the wrap does.
I
That
hope-
fixes so much of my OCD.
It does too. Oh my god! I
Yeah.
feel like for once I'm living my true self.
Yeah.
I kind of get how that one community feels now about living their true selves. This is me.
But your true
Finally.
self is a black Model 3.
No,
What,
it's
flat
not.
earthers? What? Oh,
That's not what he
That-
identifies
no,
as,
it's
Mike.
not. I don't
He
identify as
identifies
a black
matte,
vehicle.
dark green Model 3.
50
I
Shades of
identify
Michael
as
gets canceled.
a matte olive green Model 3. That's what I identify as. That's who I am on the inside. Never mind what I was born with, Mike, you bigot.
I'm convinced now, because the other thing I remember when we first got in a Model 3, when you guys rented one and we drove it around, I was like, this is so futuristic, this is so cool. And there were little details that kept coming up in my brain. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this has Lightning and USB-C ports on the bottom. I hope they switch that to wireless chargers someday, because wireless is the future. Now they've done that. Now Qi chargers are standard. And in the back seat, when I sat back there, I was like, oh, they've got chargers here, but they're USB-A. I hope they switch those to USB-C.
Oof.
And then when I sat in Randy's car, I was like, they should let you change the exterior. They've basically done everything that I originally thought of, which means I'm convinced any design update I can think of, they will eventually add. So it's not going to be this year, but I'm convinced eventually there will be a 120 hertz Tesla display.
Okay.
Congrats, you're a prophet.
You're so
It's-
funny.
It's not going to be on my car, but I'm going to be really upset.
You're
the
going
day
to
they
upgrade
add
your
it.
card when that happens. I will put that down there as a prediction. Andrew Erickson
not a terrible idea.
will instantly sell his current Model 3 or Model Y or Cybertruck or whatever he has at the time the moment that a 120 hertz.
You want to hear a fun Louise quote? This might be a good reference for the... We'll do a recurring gag on this show. Guess what Louise said this past week? She went, how would you feel about a Model 3 and a Model Y? And I was like, who are you?
I can have both.
That was my next question. Is like, why though? Like, what would we do with two?
Because Y is the best.
Why?
Yeah,
Why
I would
not?
rather just trade in the 3 for the Y, but I'll specifically wait until the Y gets 120 hertz. But I also believe that the price of the Model Y will go down eventually once they scale up production and they match demand. The margins right now are really, really high. And if you're producing at a very large scale, you can afford lower margins because you're pulling in more total vehicles. So
Yeah.
once they're delivering millions per year, which is going to start this year potentially, and they're doing like 5 million, 6 million, 7 million a year, I think, and they can match demand, hopefully, they'll probably be willing to sell a 4680 Model Y for under 50K, because right now their average margin I think is around 30%. So if you like wanted to sell your vehicle at high volume and you had a much lower margin, they could sell it for 50 or 45. And when that day comes, I would feel more comfortable getting a Model Y especially because it'll have more stuff. But we also just don't have a lifestyle that justifies it right now, and I think there's a greater chance of that happening in the future. So I'm kind of like just hoping for better deals, but we'll see how long it takes.
You'll be waiting for a
get
long
those.
time, my friend.
I agree, and that's why I'm perfectly comfortable hanging on to the Model 3 indefinitely and/or forever, potentially. If our lifestyle doesn't change, I got no problem keeping it forever. I don't think we'll need to upgrade for anything, but
It'll last forever.
life is weird.
What's
that?
battery?
Oh yeah, that'll last a freakishly long time. Hopefully, I'm excited to do long-term reviews with that, and 120 hertz. That's my next upgrade. I might have to put my foot
for
down.
everything.
Yeah,
You're
put my foot
you're
down
a
on that
sick
one.
man.
I won't
You
buy
and
another
120
Tesla.
hertz. You're sick. You're sick.
It's an AMD Ryzen processor, and they put an AMD graphics card in there, and the resolution of the display is a notch above 1080p. So getting that thing to 120 is like probably one little
Is irrelevant.
component.
Exactly. Thank you.
No,
You
it's a
don't look
supply
at it that
chain.
much.
It's one little component. It's just one little panel that they update to 120, and then they call it a day. But
Speaking of
people,
updating.
yes.
Go ahead, sorry. No.
Oh,
Finish your thought.
I was just gonna finish with the display panel needs to be slightly updated from one supplier, but there were people with the new AMD Teslas claiming that the frame rate seems higher. I think it means
really?
it's a difference between like 30 and 60. I don't think it's a difference between 60 and 120, but everyone's saying like, yeah, the display feels smoother. So we're
Interesting.
probably at 60.
I wonder if you, by switching out a display, though, does that void any type of like if you're trying to work?
Oh
with
no, I wouldn't
Tesla?
do it on my car. No.
Oh.
He would sell the whole car.
Yeah, I would sell it and upgrade if we needed it. Not I wouldn't do it solely for 120 hertz, but
Right. Yeah. But okay, so
yeah, you
speaking of updates, then.
Yeah, you
doing doing. You probably would.
Don't
Drew.
kid yourself.
I
depends on
feel
the show.
it depends how well this podcast is performing.
If YouTube keeps going the way it's going, but this is the last car we're ever gonna buy. But
How can you afford this? I can't.
I can't.
How is
Right.
Drew able to get all these cars? How can you afford them? I can't.
He doesn't.
Oh, I can't.
I don't.
Okay. What was your question?
Speaking of, no, not question, just something I've been entertaining. Thoughts
Yeah.
of upgrading stuff, and this one is a DIY. Well, not third party.
yourself
Going,
fit.
going outside of Tesla. I asked
Uh-huh.
Tesla this directly, and they told me they can't do this. But then the lady nudged me and was just like, "Don't mean other people won't do it for you." And I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. I'm married. I'm sorry. Please, I don't know what message you were picking up from me. I'm good.
Oh
So,
my god.
I want to swap out my center console.
Oh, okay.
You want the
I'm-
updated one?
I've seen people do that online.
I want to do it, and then my Model 3 will be perfect.
I thought you were
For
gonna
now.
go in a different direction. I thought you were gonna say that you wanted the lift gate on the trunk.
Ooh.
Ooh, that would be so cool. I don't know how I can control that in the app though to open close.
It literally. So, you can already pop the trunk in the app. I've done a ton of research
Yeah.
on this. Same with the frunk.
Yeah.
You can pop the trunk and the frunk in the app, and however they design those third-party lift gates, it runs off of the electrical signal of that button. And so if you click the pop trunk button in the app, it will toggle it either open or closed. And same with the frunk. And so
How does it do
Frugal-
close though?
You press the button.
It's just you
you
pop
push the trunk
open
button
trunk.
on the app.
Yeah,
Oh,
it'll
the same
close.
button.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
it toggles it in
Oh.
real life. Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool. Same with the frunk. They have
Okay,
some
I
for the
want
frunk,
two
too.
things then.
Now I want-
I want two.
Now, let me tell you another
no,
thing, Randy.
Uh-oh. No,
Just joking.
You're about to
I'm
make
joking.
Okay.
But
AMD chip.
I'd recommend, was it Frugal Tesla Guy has done this to his
You know
Model
what?
3. And
Frugal Tesla guy's amazing. Wait,
I
what's
think
mine?
Snazzy Labs updated his center console as well.
Did he?
Yeah, but I think Nick should do a video called "Putting the M1 chip in the Model Y."
it's the biggest cube ever.
Nick, you can't afford not to do this.
Tears
Famous
apart center
words.
console, puts M1 chip in there. We're good, boys.
It
We
will
Apple
the
car.
M1
There's your
also.
Project Titan, ladies and gentlemen.
Apple car. It exists.
It will
I still
be,
haven't paid this off, but
hang
it
on.
exists.
I brought up Project Titan real quickly. For those who left comments and everything, I've seen your
Oh, yeah.
comments. I've relayed your comments. I am waiting on hearing back from it. It's not as easy as a direct answer. Without
The trolls hate us.
compromising anything, let's just say that certain protocols need to be put in place so that way nothing can leak, so to say. So
Randy's
I've relayed.
contact is currently being held for ransom by global security in a dark room with drip water torture. It's been harrowing.
Yes.
We call it waterboarding, and
No, it's just that on your forehead.
those
it's
are
the drip,
ethical.
drip.
Those are ethical interrogation tactics. Never mind
Like
what the Bush
Giga
administration
Berlin,
says.
it will recycle as much water as humanly possible.
Exactly.
They're not wasting water.
And the tears that come out during the process are also recycled as part of that. So
They
actually, it's
catch
a net
that.
positive for the ecosystem.
It's carbon negative. Yeah.
Anyway, all that to say that one day when the time is ready, I will. When the time is ready, I will. I will get to your guys' questions if I can get an answer to them. I got you. All right, that's it. That's my Project Titan update.
My question is, are you getting to the point in ownership where your Model 3 where it's like you've owned it for so long that you're not too worried about letting a third party start messing with it, like ripping out things and putting in new stuff? You're like, well, I've owned it for long enough.
No.
I'm ready.
No, I might feel that way once FSD is not in beta, but I kind of feel partly that way ever since a big old rock cracked my windshield. After that,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm
after that, I was
paranoid
like,
about
You're
man,
that.
just like, I don't want to play with you anymore. Throw the whole thing away.
Hey, it's not that. At that point, I was like, screw it. Put your sweaty, greasy fingers on my doorknobs. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Because before, I used to go by and
You
wipe
could
them.
be
'cause it's-
dirty.
Yeah. Now I don't wash my car every week. In fact, I hardly ever wash it after that. But mostly because it's in a garage controlled in air. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even know this. The garage that I parked the car in is climate controlled in the sense that now that it's getting warmer out here. I went to my car yesterday. AC was on inside my garage. It's like, I don't even have the AC on in my apartment right now. I'm gonna hang out in here.
Tesla's
When I
living
tell you,
better than you.
dude, when I tell you, I sat in my car with the windows down, just BSing, just killing time, just chilling.
In the garage, it's closed. Only in an
yeah.
EV.
Yeah, only in an EV can you sit in your car with the garage door
Right.
closed and you're not gonna kill yourself. So you're
Yeah,
good.
someone came in there. Sir, that won't work with a Tesla. You need your.
I'm done. Don't try to stop me.
Oh no, I'm gonna do that actually. Yeah, I plan on doing that. It's gonna be a lot cheaper to cool and heat the car than our house. So
Just
Oh,
go put the car in the house.
no, not in the house. I'm gonna sit in the car instead of the
Oh.
house, and we'll hang out in there, and I'll work in there. I mean, we're just gonna watch TV anyway.
Right?
Where are you gonna put the car in the house?
that's the
our-
Why do you need a
home
house
Our
at
theater.
this point, Drew? Sell the house and get another Model Y.
Then
Big
it's
brain.
just another house.
Big brain.
Then it's just
Exactly.
another.
You
It's
just connect the two together.
you could treat your Model 3 as like when those LA snubs have home theaters. There's your home theater. Everyone has their own
Exactly.
chair.
But your home
Great sound
theater
system.
drives itself down the highway.
Yeah, heated seats, and you got the HVAC right in front of you, where we don't have that in the house.
LFP is very efficient too, compared to whoever
You
your
can
electric provider is.
recline, take a
Yep.
nap. You can
I'm
have
actually gonna try to do more office work from within the car because I've discovered that the USB-C ports they put in the new Model 3s have been upped. At least the front USB-C ports have been up to 37 watts, which means
that you could do a MacBook
I can
on that.
power. It won't fast charge, but I can power my MacBook Pro through the USB-C port in the center console. So I'll take my laptop in there and just film in there and stream in there and just do everything.
This whole time I thought you were becoming a minimalist. No, you're becoming a nomad.
No, I want to move everything in there so I can get rid of more stuff. I don't need.
What you do, Drew,
It is still a minimalist.
You guys then rent out your current office as like an Airbnb place, because we all
Correct.
know that your Northern California is just known for the most popular Airbnb destinations, and
Very true.
and then you can have extra income. This is a great idea.
Yeah, I think this is a fantastic idea.
While you're at it, burn it all to the ground.
What the heck? Make it a business. No, wait.
You don't have to do that
Nicholas!
around here.
Just burn it. There's already fires in
California
Northern
will do
California.
that by
Just
itself.
burn the rest of it. Your neighbors won't care.
Oh my goodness. And
So-
then when you're done with everything, just put the car in N and push it off the cliff to that where that dam is at, and
In
just walk
N?
away.
No, you got to do a Thelma
Hey.
and Louise rendition and see if you can get
It's Drew and
0
Louise.
to 60. It's the Drew and
Yeah.
Louise. Yeah, there you go. That's you just go off the cliff and see how much
Boom, boom.
you can get.
Air power.
Air power. There you go. It's perfect. Well, actually, Mike was FaceTiming us from his Model Y the other day, and I took a like a FaceTime screenshot, whatever thingy, of
Wow.
his setup. I know
You didn't ask for permission.
I didn't ask for. I took a picture of him.
So
without
violated.
his consent. You should be, dude. I'll drop this in the group chat though, so that
You should be.
you should be
should
feeling
be.
violated.
You
It was-
will be.
It was a violational
will
moment
be.
there. That moment Mike and I shared over FaceTime with the group. It was just very intimate and personal. But anyway,
It's a good view.
This view that Mike had, I think he just had his phone on the wireless charger in the
Yep.
in the Tesla. That is like a really cool angle. Having like a video recorded fairly up the nose, so you're not going to win any points for
My
cinematic
hand's
flattery.
in the way.
And sure. Like I could frame this a little
Bonus
better
points
as a
for the
cinematographer,
pinky ring.
but oh my gosh, the point is, the roof of the Model Y is a great background, especially when you're driving through a wooded forest like Mike was. And
That's
it was
true.
like, I should do that, but with starships in the background.
Yeah. Just drive really slow.
Super
You'll
slow.
pass them really quick. Yeah.
How are you going to get that close to the starships?
Driving
I know,
circles.
I know ways legally.
He's just driving
have
through
to-
the
legally.
ice.
I have to say legally.
That
Legally,
was
I
a
have
joke
to say
for
legally.
legal reasons.
No,
For legal
that
reasons.
was a joke.
For legal
Did you
reasons,
know-
this is investment advice.
All
The
of this has been.
the Lightning's gonna deliver in less than 2 weeks,
Woohoo!
and
Only
someone
get
in my
$5,000.
Truck part 2.
someone commented on my video that they have their built date scheduled for May 9th, and their final price is $47,000.
Plus 500 or 5,000.
It's like that's less than my car.
That's
They're
not a
paying
Tesla.
less than the Model 3. Like,
Jeez.
I hope they don't jack up the prices at the last minute, but most
Oh, they
people
will.
don't think they will. And
They
Listen.
I'm impressed.
Gentlemen.
I don't think they're profitable, but
No, they're not. But this is not financial advice for legal reasons.
yeah. He's not an audio
Now
listener.
oh my God, Kiko! Right when I was about to drop the biggest bomb. All right, so now that taxes are paid and I don't have
This
to,
is a GMC.
Don't drop bombs, Randy. Don't drop.
oh, are we talking farts? No, we're talking like f bombs.
Oh,
no,
no, I
I-
thought you were gonna say like
mind.
napalm.
Oh, yeah, I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
What's your non-investment investment advice?
How about this? for all legal protections. Here's what I'm going to do, guys. Now that my taxes are paid and I don't have to worry about penny pinching nothing no more, I'm ready to get back into the investment game. I'm going to probably take out a hefty amount on Ford.
A stock?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll join you.
We bailed.
You bailed? No, my fallback with is they have a very decent dividend anyway. So
They do have good dividends. It's true.
and no one else in this market pays a dividend, and I think the Ford Lightning is going to really put a shadow over Rivian, unfortunately, with all the coolness that they're doing just by branding alone. The power of the branding is something
Very
I
strong.
don't take for granted, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take out a hefty amount on Ford, and I'll hold it for at least a year, just so for taxes reasons and stuff like that. But I actually suspect that this is gonna go well, because the fact that they're even losing money is why I'm gonna do it, because I know they're gonna be losing money on this. But that means the stock. I predict that Ford is gonna be selling at somewhat of a discount for a little bit, the stock itself. And then they'll do what everyone else has done, and they will start increasing their prices. And when that increases by demand alone, like I'm betting to a certain level, I am betting that we are going to see non-believers become believers in the EV market strictly because Ford is going to do it with the F-150. And I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. So
Okay. It's at a 3-month low right now, so
Yep.
it's got potential.
My brother got them a couple years ago, and I asked them about that like a couple days ago. I was like, "Hey, take a look at Ford. How's your overall how's your overall performance with it?" And he's like, he's still out of profit because he's been reinvesting and dividend investing with it as well. And he's like, "No, I'm doing fine." So I'm like, "Huh." And that's what made me even think about it. It's like, I'm going to join you, because he did it for a whole different reason. And I was like, no, you might be onto something. Hold on to this stock for a little bit. You might be a little late right now for Tesla if you're trying to, make something worthwhile for the next 2 years. But Ford might actually do something there. So this is my next. I'm not going to gamble or risk the way I did Tesla, but I'm going to be pretty heavy-handed with this.
We bailed out basically right when the Lightning got unveiled.
Oh.
We felt happy because we got in much lower. So it was a good flip.
It was a good time.
You sold news. Yeah. That's good. You bought buy rumor, sell news. That's
well,
that's
we bought right
surefire.
After COVID hit, so it was like everything was
okay. Yeah.
by fear. Yeah. We bought
buy fear, sell greed.
Bought fear, sold promise.
I don't plan on buying in again, but I will say if I had to buy an electric truck, I would get the Lightning.
Ew.
Ooh.
Shane
Just
said,
just for the fact that it's
leave
the
this
cheapest.
show, and I'm sorry, everybody. It was a great run for the past few years, but Drew is now dead to me on a spiritual level. And
Not everyone can afford the $3 million Cybertruck when it comes out,
Well, I'm sorry, that's your problem. You have to afford the $3 million Cybertruck. I mean,
Sounds like a you problem.
it does sound like a you problem. It sounds like a broke person problem. I wouldn't know what that's like.
Yeah,
Sounds gross.
The truth is I don't need a truck, and I don't really want to change my lifestyle to any of the things you would need to change to warrant
Drew.
getting a truck.
Oh my gosh.
But if I had to get one, I would get the cheapest one possible. So in that case, it's the Lightning. They got me there. It's cheaper than my Model 3, and I'm not getting rid of the Model 3. And so I'm gonna have that regardless. So if I just need a truck for like moving stuff around town or bike riding and that kind of thing, I'd probably just.
I'm gonna buy you a Ford hat.
Why don't they call it the F-150 Mustang, since everything that's electric is, I guess, a Mustang now, right?
The Ford F-150 Mustang. My wife would. I think she would denounce
She would slap
Ford.
me.
She would be like, "How
now.
dare?"
Oh wow!
She would
Dude.
cancel Ford immediately.
Keep Mustang's name out your mouth.
I will. All right.
I'm going to. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm going to. I could.
Greatest
I,
podcast in the history of Tesla.
I
I love it when Randy gets the joke. You can hear his laugh change.
it's great. Yeah, I laugh. I appreciate it because like I wish I came up with that. If I bought a Ford anything, I've told you guys this before, but I'm going to reiterate to you guys and then listeners as well. My wife would leave me.
I don't remember that at all.
Well, this is wonderful news to hear on the podcast.
This is,
No, she.
but not the
She
stock.
told me.
Not the stock.
Listen.
Fine.
There's a reason why I'm telling you guys this and not her. No, babe, it's okay. Just trust that the system will work. I got it right with Tesla, didn't I?
Oh my god. No, I showed the Lightning to Louise and she was like, "What? What is it?"
What is
Yes,
this?
that's the new truck. She was like,
No, it's not. It's terrible. It's the old truck.
"I've seen that one. We drive by like 50 of those a day."
She doesn't.
It's like-
She does not like Ford. She hates how cheap the materials are, and not cheap by price, but cheap by
why
quality.
I love your wife.
Wonderful news hearing on the Taylor
Built
Swift
tough.
TV podcast. Do you guys have any last minute thoughts besides love for other people's wives and
Randy, we need to get this on the record. I love and respect your wife an appropriate amount.
I didn't even think about it like that until you had to reiterate. Man, I really love your wife.
I'm worried
Thank you.
about this podcast.
Thank
Almost
you, man.
loves your wife as much as he loves the Cybertruck.
I really love your wife. Thanks. I think.
Thanks.
Thank
Me
you.
too.
Me.
Me too.
Why are you in my bed?
No, I guess
The
closing
bed of your
thoughts
pickup
are,
truck? Because she invited me to try out
in the
try
bed.
Cybertruck.
I get it. Closing
go.
thoughts are: I want Tesla to update the configurator. I hope the earnings call provides legitimate answers and not we'll talk about it later. And I've been to like 5 events. The past 5 Tesla events have been. I don't want to spill the beans. We'll
Yeah.
talk about it later.
Wow.
Well, then spill the milk. Something. Just
I know.
something.
Spill the milk.
Yeah.
Rip
whatever.
dairy.
My closing thoughts was gonna be is please give us something.
Like it was earnings call, shareholder meeting, earnings call, and then cyber rodeo. Literally the cyber themed event. And he's like, "Well, we don't want to talk about too much." Like,
We'll tease about throwing a ball bearing and then not do it.
they should have done it. If it broke, it wouldn't have. It would have been even funnier. Like
It would have
Yeah.
just increased more orders.
I know it would
know,
have been.
it
Hilarious.
would've-
Honestly,
would've.
Tesla needs people to stop ordering the truck at this point. So go up there and just everybody get a steel ball and throw it, and everyone can take turns.
Cyber rodeo. Everyone gets to throw a ball bearing.
Exactly. It's like the guys with the polishing cloths are also handing out steel balls.
They should have had a big red cloth coming out the bed of the Cybertruck and then drive it with a bull. And the bull keeps ramming his antlers into the side and just nothing happens. Boom, boom.
Bull antlers.
Oh no.
I was thinking more of just a horse kicking the side instead of a sledgehammer, but
That'd be good too.
a bull's
That would work.
antlers.
Bronze the horse. The
bulls'
Hans.
antlers. Okay.
Hans has a horse named
The
See you
Hans.
next week,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Next week. Bye.